Welcome to Python Pro, a 30-day workshop by CDC. And today on day 5, we'll be looking at the elif and nested if from the conditional statements, as well as we'll be looking on some common inbuilt functions that we'll be using on lists, strings, tuples, and dictionaries. Moving on to nested if is nothing but an if inside an if statement. Nested if is used to create some complex conditional logics, and the syntax goes like the main first if condition followed by the other if conditions with the indentation, and then you have the else part. So let us have a look at the example. In this example, we are going to check for the driving license eligibility. We will be getting the age from user, and our first condition goes like if the age is greater than 18. So I've asked yet another input from the user stating that has he passed the driving test. So the nested condition goes like if the driving test is passed, then I'm going to print you're eligible for driving license, and else you need to pass the test for driving license, and then the else part for the whole if segment. So this output that I'm getting here is from the nested if part. I'm going to say yes. I'm getting the output as congratulations, you are eligible for the driving license test. Moving on to the elif statements. Elif statements are nothing but a short form for the else and if combined together. So instead of writing else and the if, we combine it into elif. And the syntax is same. Say we'll have elif and we'll have the condition, and then we'll be having the code segment that needs to be executed for the elif part. Let us look at an example now. So again, taking the example of driving license, say I want to check the eligibility for people on or above the age 18 and who are of the age 16 to 17 and who are below that. So I'm getting the input from the user, and now if I'm going to check if the age is above or equal to 18. So if this statement is true, we are going to print that you are eligible for driving license, and else if this condition fails, we will be checking again if the age is greater than or equal to 16. So if this condition fails again, we will be moving on to the else part. And similarly, elif statements are used to check multiple condition sequence, and it helps us to execute different code blocks. So moving on with the example, the elif code block is getting executed. Next, we have the common built-in functions. In list, we have list.count. This helps us in returning the frequency of a particular element. Say if I want to check how many times a particular element is repeated in the list, I can use the count function. And len function returns the length of the list. List.append adds the item to the end of the list, whereas list.extend is used to add an entire list to the already existing list. Say I want to add list 2 to list 1, I can use list.extend. So list1.extend, and I can enter the list 2 inside the function. And list.remove item is used to remove the first occurrence of specified item. Say if there is more than one item, say if 3 is repeating more than once and I want to remove 3, if the first occurrence of 3 will be removed. And list.pop takes the index value and it deletes the element. Concatenation is nothing but adding two lists. So to add two lists, we can either use the plus operator or you can use the plus equal to operator, where the list 2 will be added at the end of list 1. Moving on to string, we have length, again the length function that returns a length, and the strip function that removes the leading and trailing white spaces, which means the blank space that is before and after a particular string. And string dot split, it separates the string whenever it encounters this specific separator. Say I want to split wherever there is a comma in the string, I can use string dot split and enter comma as the separator. And we have string dot lower and string dot upper. These functions change the string to its lowercase and its uppercase. And lastly, we have the concatenation, where we add two strings with the use of the plus operator or the plus equal to operator. Moving on to dictionary, we have the length of dictionary where it returns the length, and we have dictionary.keys where it returns a list of all the keys in the dictionary. And we have dictionary.values that returns a list of all the values in dictionary. And dictionary.items will be returning a list containing of the key value pair as tuples. And then moving on to tuple, as you know, tuple is immutable. We cannot add or append or remove any item from tuple. So we basically have the length function which returns the length, and then we have the index function that returns a particular index of the first occurrence of the element. Say if 3 is repeating thrice, the first occurrence of 3, the index of the first occurrence of 3 will be returned. And tuple.count is going to return the frequency of the item. So concatenation and tuple will create a new tuple rather than adding the tuple 2 to tuple 1. So the result is going to store a tuple containing the elements from both tuple 1 and tuple 2. Let us see how these built-in functions work. I have declared A as a list containing the numbers. I'm going to print A. So here is our list. To count, say I'm going to use the first function, the count, which goes like A dot count, and say I want to count the number of occurrence of 2. It returns the number of frequency. The frequency of 2. And then moving on to length, we have length of A as 9. And the next is going to be the append function. So A dot append of, say I want to add 8. Now if I print A, 8 is added at the end. And to remove, A dot remove, remove function takes the element whereas pop takes the index. So while I give remove of 2, the first occurrence of 2 is going to get removed. So again, if I'm going to say print to B, the first occurrence of 2 is removed. And now if I try pop, I have to give A of pop of index. Say I want to pop some 6. Pop removes the element and it prints the element that is removed. So now if I print 6 was in the sixth index is going to contain the element 6 and it is removed. Say now I want to concatenate. Say I have another list called B. D is equal to so A plus B is going to give me the concatenated list. Moving on to the string built-in functions, we have come across the length. Say first I declare the string str1 as day5 Python root. So this is going to be my string. To calculate length, we are going to use the length function. This 24 will be including the spaces that I have given before day 5 and after pro. So to remove the trailing and the space that we have before, we can use the strip function. So str1 dot strip. So the spaces have been removed. And now to split, say I want to split where the comma is occurring. So str1 dot split of comma. So I've got two new strings as a list. And then we have the lower case and the uppercase. So str1 dot lower. So all the capitals have been changed to small. And similarly str1 dot upper is going to change the string to its capital case. And to add a string, say if I want to add b is equal to went well, str1 plus b. So this string is added at the end of str1. Or we can also add using the plus equal to. Say I have another string. So b plus equal to c. If I'm going to print b, c has been added at the end of b. And moving on to the dictionaries, we have, let us declare a dictionary. So I have dict1 equal to name. Name I have Max. Then age, I'm going to give us 12. And then I'm going to give favorite color as blue. So this is my dictionary. So to check the length of dictionary, I'm going to use the length function. The length is 3. I have 3 key value pairs. And to retrieve the keys alone, we are going to use the dictionary dot keys function. So dict1 dot keys. So I've got the list of keys. And similarly, we'll go with the values. Say dict1 dot values. And we have the values here. And lastly, we will have the items. or the values to be, the items of the dictionary, as in the whole dictionary will be printed. So dict one dot items. We've got the key value pairs. The each key and value pair is made as a tuple inside a list, which is being put up inside another tuple. And in tuple, as we said, we cannot add or append or do any other functions. So we can only check the length. We can concatenate to form another new tuple, or we can just retrieve the index of any value. Say I'm going to declare my tuple as t 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my tuple. So length of t will return the length of the tuple, and we have t2 as say another 4, 5, 6, 7. So now the new tuple t3 will contain both the values of t and t2. And to check to retrieve the specific index value, we are going to use t dot index, or say 2. So the index of this element 2 is going to be 1.